Stella pretended the school cleaner was not her mother. She joined other students to laugh at her, to mock her, and to call her dirty. And that cleaner, her name was Catherine, a woman whose hands were rough from scrubbing toilets, whose back ached from sweeping endless classrooms, and whose only reason for enduring such shame was for her daughter, the very one who denied her. All Catherine wanted was for her only child, Stella, to have the kind of education she never had. But Stella was ashamed of her. Stella walked the school compound like a queen. She moved with her friends, laughing, adjusting her fine uniform, and acting as though she was from a wealthy home. When her friends asked about her parents, she lied boldly. "My parents? They're abroad, of course." When Catherine brought provisions, Stella hissed, "Hide behind the hostel. Don't let anyone see you. If they find out you are my mother, I'll die of shame." Catherine would hide, her arms full of food meant for her own child, tears silently burning her eyes. Stella looked her mother in the eye and said, "No one must ever know you are my mother. You are just the school's dirty cleaner. The food you give me, the money you slip into my hand, that is your duty. So don't look at me like I committed a sin. When others were busy making it in life, where were you?"
One afternoon, Catherine slipped money into her hand, only for another student to see. "Stella, why is the cleaner giving you money?" Stella laughed coldly. "She's not my mother. She's just one of our cleaners at home. My real mother sent her to bring me money." Catherine's knees weakened. Her heart pounded painfully, but she stayed silent, gripping her mop tighter as her daughter's words stabbed her soul. One day, as a group of students surrounded Catherine to mock her, something happened that no one expected. A boy stepped forward. His name was Alfred. He shouted, "Enough! Leave her alone!" He began to fight for her. When boys tried to kick her bucket, Alfred would shove them aside. "Touch that bucket again and see what happens," he barked. The students began to laugh at him too. "Look at him, the son of the dirty cleaner." They called him names. Even Stella joined them. But Alfred did not care. He stood like a shield in front of Catherine, refusing to let anyone harm her. One evening, Catherine called him. "Alfred, why are you not like the others? Why do you defend me?" Alfred's voice cracked as he replied, "Because you remind me of my mother. She's gone, but when I see you, it feels like she's here, and I can't let anyone hurt you." From that day, Catherine and Alfred became inseparable. Years passed. It was graduation day. Stella and Alfred were in the same class. Parents filled the hall, sitting proudly beside their children. Stella had hired another woman to act as her mother. She dressed the woman up and introduced her to everyone as her mommy. Meanwhile, Catherine stood quietly in a corner, unnoticed, watching her only child call another woman mother while she was still alive. Alfred searched the hall for Catherine. When he found her sitting alone, tears in her eyes, he rushed to her side. He held her hand firmly and whispered, "Everyone here has a mother sitting with them. Please be my mother." Tears flowed down Catherine's cheeks as she stood up and hugged Alfred tightly. She had always thought she wasn't good enough to be called a mother. But here was Alfred, tall, handsome, from a rich home, holding her like the most precious person in the world. Fred introduced Catherine to his father. They took pictures together, smiling through tears. Catherine felt a joy she hadn't known in years. That evening, Stella returned home, angry and restless. She packed her bags. "Mama," she snapped, "I'm leaving this house. If I stay, what will you do for me? You can't even feed me properly. Can you train me in the university? No. So leave me alone and forget I ever existed." Catherine grabbed her hand, trembling. "My daughter, please, don't go." But Stella pulled her hand away and stormed out. Alfred, who had followed them, stood frozen. His chest tightened as the truth sunk in. Stella was Catherine's daughter. The same Stella who had mocked her, denied her, and called her dirty. How? Alfred whispered to himself. How could she punish her own mother like this? Where did she find such a heart? He pulled Catherine into his arms, tears soaking her gown. Mama, don't be afraid. I will never leave you. Alfred entered university and studied hard. Even while away, he called Catherine every day. Mama, have you eaten? Did you take your medicine? Don't stress yourself too much. He cared for her like a true son. Years later, Alfred graduated with honors and became an engineer. Before traveling abroad for work, he held Catherine's hands. Mama, don't cry. I didn't come to say goodbye. I came to take you with me. It is time for us to live together as mother and son. Catherine smiled as Alfred, his father, and his new wife brought her into their family. Together, they traveled abroad, where Catherine lived in comfort, surrounded by love and grandchildren who called her grandma. Meanwhile, Stella lived with a man who promised her university education. Instead, he abandoned her with a pregnancy. She struggled alone, barely eating, carrying her baby like a heavy cross. Years passed. Her daughter grew into a stubborn child. At only 10 years old, she had already started insulting Stella. She rejected food, compared her to other parents with money, and mocked her small life. Each insult cut Stella open. For the first time, she felt her mother's pain. Tears ran down her face as she whispered, "Now I understand." The next morning, she ran back to her mother's house to beg for forgiveness, but it was too late. The small house was empty. Catherine was gone. She collapsed on the floor and wept bitterly. Meanwhile, far away in a mansion abroad, Catherine laughed and played with Alfred's children, living the life she had once only dreamed of. Finally loved, finally honored, finally at peace.